What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we are continuing our look at the Wave 2 battle cards from Transformers, Rise of the Combiners, and we are having a look at some of the great new options we've got for drawing cards when we're over in Wave 2. And I think we need to start off by having a look at a star card, Universal Network Access. You see, Universal Network Access, it has a star. That means that you cannot put it into a 25-star deck. Think something like Metroplex. You've got to have fewer than 25 stars so that you can go ahead and put this into your deck. So it had better be pretty gosh darn good. And what does it do? Well, draw 3 cards. Which initially doesn't sound like stunning. It doesn't sound like the best card ever. Draw 3 cards. It's not particularly inspiring. It's not like something like Leap of Faith where we're like, whoa, we get to play 2 extra cards. But I think the most important thing here is looking at the draw options we had using action cards in Wave 1 and actually going, oh, wait a second, actually, drawing 3 cards is pretty gosh darn good. So you could draw 3 cards in Wave 1 using Backup Plan, just so long as you were willing to scrap your hand first. And you don't always want to scrap your hand. Actually, sometimes you want to keep your hand and draw cards. The other thing is that Backup Plan actually has a white icon, which is good in every kind of deck. Universal Network Access has a blue icon, and it's like it always is with blue icons. Yeah, it's great if you're playing a defensive-minded deck, but what if you're not? What if you're playing an attacking deck? You're like, well, I want to use one of my stars to get some draw power, but then I've got blue in there, and it's kind of annoying. Hey-ho. We had Equipment Enthusiast. Now, Equipment Enthusiast, I've said in a bunch of videos, this was the best pure draw back in Wave 1 of the Transformers TCG. It had a white icon, and I've just told you how much I like that. And it said, draw a card for each of your upgrades. Well, that's really nice if you've got upgrades on the field. Now, if you're playing Megatron Arrogant Ruler, time Wave 2 comes out, there's a very good chance you're going to be playing Equipment Enthusiast, because when you flip it into alt mode, you may play an upgrade. Well, that's pretty good. You're getting more upgrades on the field, you're going to be able to draw more cards. That's quite nice. Incoming Transmission did let you draw 2 cards, but then you had to put a card from your hand on top of your deck. Really nice to try and make sure you've got the right blue or white icon or whatever it might be for attacking or defending. Not so good if you just want draw power, because a card advantage you get here is 1 card. You only get 1 more card than you previously had. That's not ideal. Inspiring Leadership let you draw 3 cards, but then scrap 2 cards from your hand. And again, you're not getting a card advantage here. You're seeing more cards, but you're not actually getting the card advantage. Now, we could actually draw more. We could draw 4 cards back in Wave 1 using System Reboot, but firstly, you had to scrap your hand, and we talked about with Backup Plan, not always ideal. And secondly, your opponent also got to draw 4 cards after scrapping their hand, and I really like System Reboot better as a ha-ha-ha, I've just ruined your hand. Or maybe if you're playing Decepticon Shockwave and they've got to take a damage counter every time they scrap a card from their hand, which then becomes kind of hilarious because they're taking a whole bunch of damage counters. So let's make no mistake about it. If we're looking at pure, unadulterated draw, this is better than anything we had in Wave 1. You just draw 3. And here's the thing. We've actually got a character in Wave 2 that really, really wants to draw cards. It was revealed by the lovely folks over at Vector Sigma. Incidentally, that means it's an Insecticon. They were apparently the official Insecticon revealers of Wave 2. Then again, they do such a gosh darn good job, I'm cool with this. I'm talking about Bombshell, and I'm talking specifically about it in bot mode, whereby when you attack, you can KO the defending bot, just so long as you discard a number of cards from your hand equal to the number of stars they have in their cost. So clearly, if you're playing Bombshell, this is a really nice card. It is the best pure draw that we've got, and frankly, you need pure draw for Bombshell. We talked about this in the Bombshell video. I'll try and remember to pop a link in the description. But something like Incoming Transmission or Inspiring Leadership, they're not good enough. Because although they let you see more cards, they don't give you the card advantage. This does give you the card advantage. So something like Bombshell, if you can get away with playing fewer than 25 stars combined over your characters, yes, it is redonk in Bombshell, ladies and gentlemen. Flat out redonk. And that really is the headline big boy of this video. When we're looking at the draw options we've got in Wave 2, Universal Network Access is the headliner. But maybe you don't have that star to give. Maybe you're playing Metroplex. Or maybe you're playing something like Menasor. And now all of a sudden, now you can't play them. Now, quick addendum here. Yes, I know that just yesterday, or a couple days ago, whenever it ended up being, I showed you the combination of Ancient Wisdom and Unleash Potential, which do actually allow you to play star cards from outside the game if you play them together. So when I talk about, you can't play it in a Menasor deck, well, it's not strictly true if you can get the combination of those two cards rolling. But let's say you can't get that rolling, you're playing a 25-star deck, we need another option, we got Pep Talk. Draw 2 cards. Cool. Now again, it's got a blue icon, so it's better for defensive decks and offensive decks, but I just ran you through the drawing options in terms of action cards for Wave 1. And Pep Talk is, if you just want pure draw and you don't want to help your opponent, it's the best option. It gives you a card advantage of 2, while not meaning that you have to discard your hand. Cool. That is significantly better than the options that we had in Wave 1. If you want to disrupt your opponent, you probably want to go System Reboot. If you want to stack your deck with the right kind of icons, you want to go Incoming Transmission. But if you just want to draw 2 cards, we didn't really have anything in terms of action cards in Wave 1, other than Equipment Enthusiast, which is inherently unreliable. So cool. Pep Talk lets you draw 2. Clearly, it's worse than Universal Network Access, but it also doesn't cost a star, so, you know, hey-ho. If you're feeling in a more generous mood, might I suggest you Testify? By which I mean play the card Testify, each player draws 2 cards. But here's the thing, it's got an orange icon. And this is one of my favourite things about deck building in the Transformers TCG. You cannot just look at what the card does, you have to look at the battle icons. So let's say you want to play some draw. You really want to play Pep Talk, because Testify helps your opponent, make no mistake about it. Testify helps your opponent. But it might be that you need the orange icons. It might be that you want a certain amount of orange icons to make sure your attacks are going through, and you've got to have Testify because it's got an orange icon, whereas Pep Talk's got a blue icon. And please don't think this is a coincidence. We're trying to give a bit of a boon to defensive decks here. Defensive decks can have Pep Talk, just draw 2 cards. Offensive decks, attacking decks have Testify, both players draw 2 cards. You get the orange icon, but you've also got to help out your opponent, give them an option to draw some cards as well. And it could be your undoing. But there's also some really niche little uses for making your opponent draw. One of my favourite cards, I've still not been able to find a good deck for him, but I adore Autobot Cosmos. And Autobot Cosmos in bot mode's got a phenomenal skill. When you reshuffle your deck while this is attacking, KO the defender if it has 12 stars or fewer. So if you look at your opponent's deck and you think, withdrawing cards and blah, 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 oh my goodness, they're going to reshuffle their deck while attacking with Autobot Cosmos, what you can do here is play this, drop the Testify, force them to draw 2 cards, because it's not each player may draw 2 cards, it's each player draws 2 cards, and then you get to ruin their plan, which is kind of mean but kind of hilarious. But we do actually have another way to draw free cards coming in Wave 2. It's Intelligence Mission. But it's only for specialists. Now, it's got a white icon, which is kind of cool. And what you do is you tap one of your untapped specialists that has 5 stars or more, and you draw free cards. So again, you're actually getting the same effect here as Universal Network Access, while also arguably having a better pip, just so long as you're not playing a defensive deck. But you've got to tap one of your specialists to do so. Whoopsie doodle, ladies and gentlemen. Whoopsie doodle. And I don't know how much I like this. Because, is this really better than Pep Talk? Now look, to be clear, white icon over blue icon if you're not in a defensive deck every single day. But this is one extra card at the cost of tapping one of your characters, kind of giving up a turn. I don't know how much I like this. This seems exceedingly risky to me. This seems exceedingly risky. Now, this might be the thing that wins you the game, because let's go back to that crazy combo from earlier. The Ancient Wisdom Unleashed Potential combo. That can bring a star card not only from outside the game, but into your hand ready to use essentially straight away. I mean, you've already used your action for the turn, so you need to find a way to play an action, but you know, my boy Bumblebee. And so maybe it is worth it. Maybe you can get this rolling. It just seems like if you're going to tap one of your characters, it needs to be a really over-the-top phenomenal effect. And don't get me wrong, I know it's an effect on a star card, but I don't think Universal Network Access is the best of the star cards. Incidentally, Leap of Faith and Mounted Missiles are the ones that I'm looking at and going all of the yes. So I like it, and I see why it can be good, and I love that you're drawing free cards. And look, I completely understand that there are going to be turns where you don't particularly need this character, so let's just tap it and go, and I can draw these free cards, and maybe I get the combo I need or whatever. Maybe I draw free cards and I draw into that bolt of lightning that I know I'm playing, and then I get to KO one of my opponent's bots. And in something like that situation, yes, it is worth tapping. But you should not be tapping one of your characters lightly. Firstly, it means they can be attacked. Secondly, it means you've given up that turn of attacking with them. So, on the one hand, yes. On the other hand, this seems very risky to me. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. They are the new ways we can be drawing cards in Wave 2. Like I've said, I'm trying to focus because I want to be analysing all these cards by March the 1st. And we are running out of time. We've got like a week left. So we're grouping them together, and today we've had a little bit of a look at these drawing cards, and I, for one, am rather excited about them. But I would very much like to know how excited you are about them, so please do let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! But please do remember the rule to be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, and follow me on Twitter at the Wossy, where I talk about Transformers and Keyforge and whatever other games take my fancy. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.